Hey everybody, this is the first time you're seeing my face on my channel here. Yeah, I'm the guy who posts the memes and the gaming videos. So, I won't tell much about myself, but I'll just tell you my name. You could just call me Thiru. Yeah, just call me that. Anyway, this video is my first video revealing my face and talking to you all, and also to share experiences of my personal life with you. So in order to find uh, people with similar experiences. Now this is my first time talking on camera, so I'm not used to the used to this, but since this is my first, it's kind of like an experimental trial. It doesn't really define what happens, and if at all it's bad, I could just take this down and make another one. But anyway, today I want to talk about a personal experience of mine regarding a misunderstanding. Now, we've all been a victim to misunderstanding in any point of our life, whether it be with our parents or friends, anyone closer to us, relatives or colleagues or anyone so. And they could be go from being light-hearted to you know really messy misunderstandings. So in my case, I will first of all make it clear that I will not be revealing anyone's identity of who I speak in this video, and it'll be like that if I were to make few more videos, that the identity of people around me will be not disclosed at any point of time until I until I decide to. But then again, but okay, fine. Sorry if my way of delivering this is a bit messy, or not messy, a little almost frantic, or a bit inconsistent, since this is my first video. But I'm doing my best. Okay, yeah, I'm doing my little best, so please bear with me. Anyway, first off, was recently I had posted a few pictures on Instagram where I was just taking photos and you know just creating a vibe just to post on Instagram. And one of those photos, I took picture with I was at a restaurant and I took picture with a green bottle. I wish I could show the picture to you, but since I'm recording on this phone, it is on this phone, it might be a bit difficult. But anyway, I don't know how good my audio is, or how audible I am, or how good you can hear my voice, but please bear with me. Anyway, as I was saying, I took a photo with this bottle. See, I was getting into photography and photo aesthetics, where I tried to experiment with different kind of poses. Recently I got into uh, those vintage type, or men with suits kind of uh, photo aesthetics. So I was experimenting different things to see what would look good, or I could just make something goofy and send it and see what people think of it. No, I had no ill intention of making it look bad. I didn't want that kind of image. So basically, when I held the green bottle, which is just a bottle of water, it's a glass one. Initially, I thought it looked like a giant bottle of olive oil, and so there are some bottles of olive oil that do look like that. But then again, the when I came home and my loved ones saw it, they thought it was something else, something that is not a bottle of oil, something that is quite inappropriate, like a bottle of liquor. And to assume that in the first place is kind of not too wrong, but also seems too straightforward with it. That, I mean, it to me it didn't resemble like a bottle like I genuinely thought it was a bottle of olive oil. But anyway, so that happened. And so then I tried explaining, like, no, it's not like that. I didn't mean to put something like that, you know. But then again, they're like, what I found that did um, hurt me a bit was that they jumped into the conclusion without listening to my story entirely. I mean, like, okay, fine, you did think this is as something wrong. You could have just said it politely that, hey, this looks a bit wrong. You need to take this. You could have talked with me a bit instead of just mostly yelling and shouting at me. So then I did take it down, the photo of it. But then again, I just realized, how misunderstandings are so almost painful, like, because sorry if not able to see the I'm not able to see the camera most of the time because again it's my first video. But anyway, I just misunderstandings are so messy sometimes that you just try to make it right, but you don't mean to do that way. Just trying to explain that, and I genuinely didn't. I don't think that everyone is gonna assume that way because I thought it was a ball of olive oil, and if someone did think that it was a ball of liquid, they could just tell me on Instagram or something in the comments that hey, this looks like this, and then I could clarify that no, it's not what you think it is. It is just a ball of water. What I felt at that point was like a deep sense of distrust that you would go straight to such an assumption without even confirming with me. I mean, I know the pose. I didn't do like a drinking pose. I just held the ball and looked at it, and I didn't think of it to be in a serious manner. I just thought, like, maybe it's a goofy photo and maybe people will laugh at it. I thought that way, but apparently that was not the case when it came to my loved ones. So I took it down, and yeah, well, I did argue with them in the first because I kind of felt violated that. I kind of felt not violated, but rather I felt kind of somewhat uh, distrusted that you would go think that this would be the case, and you stoop so low to think that other people would think that I would drink or do some inappropriate things. But that's not the case. You wouldn't jump to the conclusion so fast. You'd at least talk to me, tell me, hey, why does he look like this? Maybe then I could explain it to you. We both could have come to an understanding, and then we would never have this fight in the first place. So I don't know if this is really what I call understanding, but it felt like a misunderstanding to me, and I don't know how many of you are out there who have face similar or other kind of misunderstandings which have hurt you or your feelings, or just change the way you see the person because of it. And I felt like it was important talking because you know there are people out there who are dealing with such things silently and not being able to talk about. So this would be a big step for me to actually open up to the world and tell something about myself. Yeah, I'm not able to focus on the camera because you know it's the first video, but if I were to make a second video, it would definitely be more there'd be more improvements than this. So yeah, and I don't think there's much to tell right now besides my experience here. And you know if you guys have any similar stories to share, about such things with a misunderstanding, or with with anyone close to you, do please share in the comments. My comments are open to everyone. I would love to read your stories, and also like to feel relate with your pain. And just how do you say, to know my audience better. That's what. Yeah, and so if at all in this video I do make any sort of you know accidental defamation or any misunderstanding in this, mistakes or anything that you feel that is wrong, then I will rightfully take down this video and I will post an apology video after, for any for clearing any misunderstandings or any misinformation. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I don't think there's much to say. I think this will be all for today. Yeah, thank you all. Have a good day.